I just had a call this afternoon with someone who is in my network, actually the CEO of another AI firm, and we've been talking about collaboration in a variety of different ways. Historically, we've been involved in exploring the opportunity to use humanoid robots. You may be familiar with the Sophia robot from Hanson Robotics, and clearly we've had some discussions in that regard. One of the challenges, though, in working with humanoid robots, physical robots, is the time that it takes to physically manufacture them. They're not often done in production runs of hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands, normally due to the complexity of the technology, which has two basic components. One would be the mechanics and pneumatics and hydraulics and electrical controllers that are responsible for things like facial expressions, among other things. But then you have the whole brain of a humanoid robot. And so you're looking at artificial intelligence often in situations where that artificial intelligence that's being used is very specific to an industry. So for example, the artificial intelligence that you install and upload into the quote-unquote head of a humanoid robot would be different, quite probably, if that robot was being used in healthcare compared to it being used, let's say, in financial services or manufacturing or retail. So every robot would have an opportunity to be affected and uploaded with a variety of different unique software specific to that industry, to that client's purposes, etc. What we're seeing in a lot of the leading edge discussions we're having, and this is with organizations that are suppliers to the U.S. Department of Defense, it may be government officials in particular, we're hearing that there is obviously some real interest in being able to augment the human employee experience with robotic process automation. And so what is robotic process automation? Basically, if we look at it from simplistic terms, it takes traditional business processes that have been articulated and improved and refined and allows technology like bits and bytes electronics, in some cases machine learning and artificial intelligence, to automate those processes where the algorithms are fine-tuned over time. But this is really important, especially as we think of, in the old business world, of strategic succession planning and management. So in the old days, there would be, for example, usually a small team in human resources, and we're talking Fortune 2000 corporations, although this is not restricted to them, but it's typically larger organizations, where to become involved in strategic succession planning and management, the organization would take a look at the value various people play in the value chain, and from there, regardless of titles, the best way to do is to take a look at value as it contributes to the value chain. Then based on those assessments, an organization would have a really good idea of which people in the organization, for the sake of preserving business continuity, revenue, customer engagement, brand recognition, all kinds of reasons, why that organization would in fact be interested in strategic succession planning and management for humans. And so in the old model, if we take a look at 5-10 years ago, and still ongoing in many organizations, when they think about the C-suite retiring or senior managers like SVPs and VPs retiring, there tends to be a strategic succession planning and management program that has been developed from within. Only a very small handful of people are privy to what the details are of that exercise, and the expectation has always been that as one person leaves, a new person would be promoted into that role and carry on, in fact, build on the success of their predecessor. And the business intelligence, the business continuity, the risks, all the things that are key touch points for the C-suite would all be managed because the strategic succession planning and management program is working the way it should. Let's fast forward to the conversation I had today. In that conversation, what we talked about frankly, was totally bypassing the idea and the need to go from strategic succession planning initiative from a person to a person. We've been discussing the notion of what would it be like to transition from a person to a robot, whether that robot is a humanoid physical robot, or whether that robot is more of a three-dimensional face presented on a two-dimensional screen with light sources and nuances and facial expressions to make that avatar, if you will, appear to be much more lifelike. Now, a forecast that I read last year suggested that across the globe, in the next 5 years, there's anticipated to be a minimum of approximately 800 million job loss across the planet for a variety of things happening. Businesses going out of business, businesses needing different kinds of employees, human employees as well as humanoid employees. And there are many skills that with the new technology take years to tool up a workforce to, because typically the approach would be, well, we need to teach those skill sets, that knowledge in university. We need to make those programs available. We need to recruit for those programs. Then we need to have graduates graduate from the programs. Then they have to be placed in businesses where we can get endorsements and referrals as to the quality of our programs and so on. I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry, but it looks as though a lot of that's going to be out the window. As we forecast the kinds of employees and workforces that will be needed in the jobs of the future, yes, there will clearly be an opportunity to engage in a lot of cross-training and leveraging previous skill sets in new areas. But there are also going to be a large number of jobs where people don't get involved in succession planning. In fact, they just look to automate that workflow through a robotic actors, if you will, so avatars and other digital entities. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there and see what kind of thoughts that might elicit from the viewing audience. Again, we're always happy to hear your comments, to receive a phone call on our 1-800 number, 1-800-627-4151. You can email us at info@aiinc.cloud. We're happy to talk with you. We've got a lot of projects and programs on the go, and a lot of this advanced technology is driving decisions that may not necessarily be realized today or tomorrow, but they're not that far off. It could be months into next year, and we'll actually start seeing a lot of this robotic process automation not only being done with a thin veil in technology behind the servers in an organization, but they may actually result in avatars and holograms and other physical entity representations of a human being, yet all entirely automated through robotic process automation. So anyway, just your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, send us an email, and let's have a dialogue. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye-bye.